Hey, what's going on, great people? This is Danielle Pierce, the creator of Real Estate Profit Lab, property preservation expert. And I have been meaning to drop this video for the past several weeks, but just now getting a chance to get it done. So gonna go ahead and get started. So if you're brand new to the channel, welcome. Hopefully you'll hit the like, subscribe, and share button and you'll come back and see us. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. Um, if you are someone who has started a property preservation business, a property preservation company, I should say, and it didn't work out, and you are feeling like a failure because you failed the very first time, this video is especially for you. And this is for you whether you are a current or prior student of ours or whether you're not a student. I know that some people have had this experience. I have had this experience. And so I just want to shed some insight into what steps you should, what happens next. Reasons why you might have failed. You may have failed due to poor performance. So poor performance, most of these companies have scorecards or, basically performance evaluations that come out generally every month. And maybe your score was consistently low and you were either put on a performance improvement plan. This kind of takes you back to corporate America, right? So you were put on a performance improvement plan or some other type of, reevaluation plan where they were looking very closely at the work that you were assigned and how you did on it. And maybe once you were on that performance improvement plan, things still weren't going that great. And so the company decided that, it's best that you guys part ways. That could happen. And if that's your experience, then, I just want you to know that that's not necessarily the end of the world. Another reason why you might have failed, maybe you decided to work with family and friends and they just weren't reliable. Uh, Often what happens with family and close friends is that obviously nobody takes the business as seriously as you do. So you can't ever have that expectation for anyone outside of yourself. But sometimes with family and friends, they don't see the urgency or they're just not, reliable people in general. Sometimes we know that beforehand and we hope that things will be different. Sometimes we don't, and it shows up once we, start working with them. But either way, you relied on, the people closest to you to help you run this business. They didn't show up. And as a result, you had your contract pulled. That's another reason why some people fail. Maybe you got frustrated and gave up. That generally happens as a result of either one or two. So maybe you were performing poorly, and you just ended things or just dismantled your company, I should say, before they got a chance to let go, to remove you from your contracts. Or maybe you just got frustrated working with family and friends, or even other subcontractors that are not family and friends, and you were just like, you know what, this is too hard. I'm gonna go ahead and give up. Another reason why people fail is that maybe some people um, they're just not able to focus on the business. And so obviously if you can't focus on it, it's not going to grow. Sometimes this happens if people are working a 9 to 5. I think it's really common for people who have a 9 to 5 that is comfortable. So their bills are paid. They're not necessarily struggling per se. They like to make more money, but it's not really urgent. And things that are not urgent, we just generally don't pay attention to. That's just kind of how humans are wired. So maybe that's a situation that you've encountered. Or finally, maybe you just didn't have enough money to float the business for a few weeks until getting paid. So most of the companies that we recommend pay within 3 weeks. Some companies 2 weeks, most companies 3 weeks. Every now and then there's a company that'll pay out every 30 days or so. So maybe you just didn't have enough money to make it through the first, 3 to 4 weeks. That's a very real thing. I can totally understand and relate to that and have been in that situation before. And while it does seem like it is a very, very short amount of time. Oh my gosh, 3 weeks goes by like that. But 3 weeks when you ain't got no money and you got people, you're receiving work, and maybe you just need, you got to buy locks to do a lock change. Let's say we're talking about a company like Source. You got to buy those digital locks, and you don't have the money to buy a pack of locks. I've been there before. So, when you don't have money, 3 weeks could feel like, 3 months or 3 years. So that could be another reason why the business, didn't work out for you. But what I want you to know is that no matter whatever the reason is that your company didn't work out or your business didn't go the way that you wanted it to, you can always start over. You can literally start over, and you can start over today, right? If you have your business still in place, you have your insurance still in place, are you prepared to get your insurance again? If you have the time and flexibility, I mean, it's a great time now to get started. I mean, you can always start over, y'all. You don't have to keep beating yourself over the head, day after day, week after week, month after month, thinking that you're a failure. You could just, literally start the process again tonight or tomorrow, right? So I want to give you some steps to starting over. So you could create another LLC. I don't necessarily think you have to go that route. And there's a few reasons for that. One, most of these companies are so large that if you once you reapply, apply again with the same company you had before, they're probably not going to remember you. So that's one reason. But it's relatively inexpensive to start a new LLC, but I'm just putting the option out there. Not saying you have to go that route. You could even just create a new email address, because most of the activity is tied to your email address for anything that you do with these companies. So just create a new email address and try that route. And I'm not saying this in a way for you to be like it's deceitful or you're trying to trick the company. If they find out and they're like, oh, hey, we remember you, or looks like you have a file already with us, or looks like you worked with us before. Just be like, yeah, I have, maybe write a letter of explanation, write an email, say, hey, this is what happened. This is my experience. This is what, why things went wrong before. Here's what I'm prepared to do now. I think that'll go well for you. Another thing that you could do, just reapply with the same company again with the same LLC and everything, because like I said a few moments ago, probably not going to remember you. And if they do, then you just, tell the truth. Apply to work with new companies. I think some of us forget that, let's say you were with, what's a good example? Altisource, right? And things didn't work out. You left them, they left you, you let them go, they let you go, whatever. Just go apply with another company, right? In your head, it feels like you're a failure and everybody knows, but I promise you, nobody knows and no one's thinking about it except for you. So just go work with some different companies and keep it moving. Like that's literally all you have to do in order to get started. But most importantly, you should write down all the reasons why it didn't work the first time and be honest, whether those reasons are your your family didn't show up for you, your friends didn't show up for you, people were doing the jobs incorrectly, people were taking stuff out of the properties, people just weren't showing up on time, people weren't submitting the work orders on time, the pictures were bad, um, you were disorganized as the owner, you weren't giving people telling people the right things to do at the property, you didn't explain all the photos that had to be taken. Write everything down and be as honest as you possibly can be with regard to, why didn't this business work out for me? And then for every single issue that you identify, go ahead and write down the solution to that problem so that when you encounter it, because you're probably going to encounter it again, you already know exactly how you're going to respond to it. So the difference between this second time and really you could even do this, a third time if necessary. The difference between the second and third time and the first time is that now it's not to say that you won't experience, problems and issues, because you're definitely going to. You're definitely going to have some issues that you'll have to encounter, but you'll be better prepared and you'll be in a better state of mind to conquer those issues. Most of my, friend circle in real life and virtually are entrepreneurs, and a friend of mine, Freddie, he's the founder of Urban Intellectuals. He made a post on Facebook, I think, yesterday or today. The first one was that there's 2.5 million Black-owned businesses, and 2.4 million, earn less than 56,000 per year. And then today, I think he made a post that over 50% of businesses make less than 50K a year, like all businesses combined, Black, white, whatever. And I look at those numbers and, it's really, really low when you think of it. Not saying that $50,000 is no money, because I mean, it's definitely not. I mean, it counts, but given the scale of what's possible, it's just a drop in the bucket. So I say all that to say, like $50,000, $56,000 is nothing to do in preservation, like it's really simple to get to that. We're talking about, 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, not really a long amount of time, but it is going to be important that you focus on the business and stick with it and not get sidetracked trying to do a bunch of different things, because the reason why most people can't succeed at anything and not just property preservation is because we can't focus on anything long enough to see it through to fruition. Our attention is so shattered and scattered that we're always thinking about and trying to juggle a bunch of different things at the same time, and it just doesn't work. So that's my advice for today. If you are a current student, or if you ever have paid for the program, I encourage you to log on and get started. You always have lifetime access, unless you're one of the Black Friday people from last year. That access expires soon, but everybody else, I mean, you have lifetime access, so I encourage you to use it. A business is going to work whenever you decide that you're ready to actually start working it. And again, if you failed, my literal answer to that is, so what? Start over and keep it moving. I promise you, it's not the end of the world, and it looms much larger in your head than anywhere else. And most people just, don't know. Nobody will know unless you told them. All right. So that's all I got for you today. If you're interested in property preservation, I encourage you to visit propertypreservationmastery.com to take our readiness assessment to see if the industry is going to be a good fit for you. For everybody else, y'all, please go ahead and get to work. Let's get ready for 2021. All right. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.